So I tuned into Wax Wednesday on a Twitter space, and boy was I happy to hear about NFTopia 3. It is getting ready to launch. It is an NFT conference that is 100% online, and it is absolutely free. But just because it is free doesn't mean this is not something that you should pay attention to, because a lot of things are happening there, and we're going to dive into that today. Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So thank you for listening to this. Definitely a lot to cover in this episode, and I'm sure this is going to be in the newsletter, certain parts of this, especially as I go to the conference. There's going to be a lot of things that I can highlight in that. So if you're not signed up for that, niftybusinessweek.com, it is absolutely free. It relaunched last week, so we're back in the swing of things. So definitely tune into that because I know I'm going to have to cover this for sure. But this conference is coming up. It is officially kicking off July 28th through 29th, so that is officially tomorrow. At the point of recording this, of course. And it's going to be between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. 45-minute slots with 15-minute breaks, so you have a little time to go to the bathroom, get something to eat, whatever it might be. Most people aren't going to be attending this whole thing, but there's a lot of things going on all day, and this is all online, so you don't even have to fly anywhere, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to go to the hotel, but there's going to be education, there's going to be booths, over 80 different booths, so projects, there's teams, there's so many people that are involved in this thing. There's going to be giveaways, exclusive drops, and a lot of people that are probably listening to this aren't very familiar with the whole Wax ecosystem, but there's an artist, Senor Lupe, and very entertaining, what have you, a lot of memes in the art as far as what's going on Wax. It's going to have an exclusive drop that takes place there. So a lot of things are happening. There's going to be speakers, AMAs, education events, all those things that we typically expect with conferences, whether or not you've been to an NFT conference, but conferences are generally around those things. It's a trade show mixed with a little bit of education and entertainment. And as far as the entertainment goes, there's going to be talent shows, there's going to be an audience vote and a judges vote in that. There's going to be a scavenger hunt, there's going to be a game show. There's going to be so many different things that's going to keep people engaged and interacting, and it's just going to be very interesting in the sense that this is a fairly small community, the Wax community. However, the teams and the projects and everything that's going to show up to this thing is going to be very interesting because most of these people are very approachable. Most of the founders, project leaders, and even the people that are on the team for the Wax blockchain, you can reach out to them, you can get in their DMs, you can do all sorts of things, interact with them. And I've even had someone from the executive team on this podcast before, episode number 239, when I interviewed Lee Jenkins, speaking about all the interesting things that are happening over there on the Wax blockchain. So if you haven't listened to that, tune into that. Of course, it is a little bit dated at this point now that I'm at episode number 500 and whatever this is. But there's some information in there that you probably didn't even know about the Wax blockchain, which is highlighted in there. Some interesting things are highlighted, and it is still worth the listen. But of course, you know, a lot of the developments and certain dates and such have passed already. But the information about the technology, the ecosystem there is still very relevant. But anyways, going back to this conference, the Wax team is involved in this. They had the space with them. They were speaking there. The team will be present. So this is not just some sort of a rogue thing that's popping up and people doing this on their own. Nope. The Wax team, the Wax family community is very supportive, and they're going to be in this thing. As I mentioned before, Senor Lupe and other people are going to have exclusive drops, giveaways, prizes, you name it. There's a lot of things that's going to be going on here. So it is very interesting. So of course, the whole focus of this is going to be education, interacting with the community, getting to know the founders and the teams. And I can definitely say when I went to NFT Miami, of course, that was an in-person event, just meeting so many people, being able to speak to founders and teams, very invaluable. So if you're someone who is interested in building anything in the space, doing anything, I highly recommend that you reach out to people that are doing things, whether they are the CEOs of a project, the artists, the coders, the developers, people on the marketing team, the community building team, whatever it is that you are interested in and want to learn more about, connect with those people, reach out to them. So at events like this, although it's digital, don't undervalue what it means to reach out and connect with people, because you'd be surprised how many interactions and collabs and even people I've had on this show simply by reaching out to someone on DM and Twitter, or tweeting after them, or commenting on something, asking a question, and then they turn around and say, hey, you have a podcast? So what's the deal with this? And they get into my DMs and we go back and forth. Next thing you know, they're on the show. So Point of saying all this is you go to these things. If you are building, you're trying to do something in the space, you're trying to work with a company, whatever it might be, something as simple as a free NFT conference in this thing might be able to get you an interaction. And I can definitely say conferences are cool, but most of them are not free. I've been to online ones and some of them I paid for. They were absolutely a letdown or whatever it might be. But as far as the community response and all the feedback I'm getting from this, it's not going to be a massive thing like NFT NYC where there's tens and thousands of people and you get lost in the mix. Usually with anything that the Wax blockchain does, whether it be their spaces or whatever it is, you have opportunity to really access people that are in the know, people that are really doing some interesting things. So I'm definitely going to be there. As far as where it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be online. Now, this is going to be in the inverse, so you might not even be familiar with them. It's not a household name like a Decentraland or some of the other metaverse projects, if you will. But that's where it's going to be. As far as the booths, everything interacting with people and so forth, that's where it is. They have a Discord set up. They have all these different things. But again, as far as attending this, you just RSVP on the website, which is nftopia.weebly.com/attend. Going to put that in the show notes, of course, along with the Twitter handles and so forth, so you can check this stuff out, see if this is something you're interested in. But I highly recommend it is, especially for the fact that if you're not familiar with the Wax blockchain, I know a lot of people don't necessarily look at the Wax blockchain as doing some amazing things. However, they are doing some numbers that would be to die for on any other blockchain. Now, I'm not talking about the dollar values, but I'm talking about the amount of people that are using it, interacting with this stuff, and they're building on this stuff. And especially now that more than any chains that I can possibly think of, they are focusing on the broader Web3 ecosystem and not their specific chain, even their cloud wallet, and allowing people to bridge over to Polygon and so forth, which I'm going to have to jump into that on a later episode. But this whole thing that they're building here, education, connecting people, founders, teams, projects, and having this event, I think is very cool. And the fact that it is free is even more exciting, because a lot of the time when you're trying to introduce people to new technology, introduce people to new things, to get them to pay to come in, not necessarily the easiest thing. And I know there is this thing that we say in marketing, it is when people pay, they pay attention. However, in the phase that we are right now in the market, it is not like there are people knocking down the door and kicking down the door to come in. The people that want to come in are seekers. The people that want to come in and learn and interact with this technology, they're early adopters, they're self-motivated and so forth, because the whole world is saying, no, do not pay attention to this. But if they see the value in it and they want to come in, I think it is a great thing that the doors are open. Just like what I say with Web3 games and what have you, let them play for free, have some fun, and where it goes from there, who knows? A lot of things can develop and happen from that. So the same thing with this. Open the doors up, have these people come in, check out the booths, interact with the projects. They're getting to promote themselves. The people are getting educated, and I think it is just very cool. So by the time you listen to this, you only have a few hours to go as far as when it kicks off, because again, everything kicks off July 28th, 9 a.m. as far as Eastern Standard Time. So that's the New York time, depending where you are in the world, and goes until 10 p.m. at night. So if you're attending this thing, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. Maybe we can connect, hang out in this whole thing. This will actually be my first time in this particular world. So I'm pretty excited about that. And of course, interacting with the people. So if you're going to attend, definitely reach out to me at Tropic Vibes on Twitter or using contact information in the show notes, and we'll definitely link up. And as usual, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this as we're learning and building Web3 together. Until next time, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.